It's my pleasure to announce our next speaker, corporate presentation. We have with us here today Mr. John McConnell. He's the President and CEO of Victoria Gold. Victoria Gold is the operator of the Eagle Gold Mine in the Yukon. And as of December 2021, they had a reserve of 2.7 million ounces. Mr. McConnell, please take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to start in English and finish in German. So again, I'm John McConnell, President and CEO of Victoria Gold, and you'll recognize McConnell as a good German name. But actually, my mother was German, and my mother-in-law is German, so it's a pleasure to be here in Germany. I'm going to go through this quite quickly. I'll come back to this slide. Where we're located is geographically the center of the Yukon. Great infrastructure. We have year-round road access. We're tied into the Yukon grid. There's a hydroelectric dam just about 50 kilometers from the mine site, so we access low-cost, clean hydroelectric power. The community of Mayo is just south. It's a small community, but importantly, it has a full-service airport, and that's how we move our employees in and out of the mine. Timeline, we acquired this property back in 2009, and certainly my comment across the bottom is true. It's been a journey, and I can tell you building a mine during a pandemic is not for the faint of heart. This is a shot of the site. You can see the top right is the open pit. We haul downhill to the primary crusher. Then material goes to the secondary crusher, and then an overland conveyor over to the heap leach pad on the left there. Then the camp is down in the bottom. From side to side is about 6 kilometers there, so it's a big site, but in a pickup truck, you can get around and see all the workplaces in a half a day. Mining, just some shots there. We use all Caterpillar equipment, and we have 2 very large shovels. You can see in the top right picture there. Those shovels were actually built here in Germany. Crushing and stacking, I won't go through this in detail, but you can see again, I want to point out that we use Metso equipment, top-notch equipment supplier. Gold recovery plant, very simple plant, and very standard in the mining industry, and you can see our recoveries, how they've come up, and we're currently at about 96% recovery of the gold that comes into the plant. 2 questions you should ask any new mine operator. One is, how's the grade reconciling? And I'm pleased to say we have excellent reconciliation. Similar, you should ask, how is recovery reconciling to your original plan? In our case, the life of mine recovery was predicted to be 73%. We're actually seeing about 78% recovery, so recovery is going very well. We guided the market that we'd produce somewhere around 160,000 ounces of gold this year, but nameplate capacity of this plant is 200,000 ounces per year. And certainly things like COVID have impacted our ramp up to 200,000. And, mining is not an issue. We can bury the primary crusher. The leach pad is not an issue, and the gold recovery plant, or ADR, is not an issue. Our bottleneck is the crushing system. And if I look at from the primary crusher to the stacking, our availability is somewhere between 70 and 75%. Industry standard is between 85 to 90%. So how do we get that up and get to nameplate capacity? There are some design changes and improvements we're making. But the real key to getting better availability and utilization is people. Coming out of COVID, we've struggled to get a full workforce and a well-trained workforce. So we've increased our recruitment capacity, we've improved our wages and benefits, and we've increased our training capacity. And we think that's the steps that are necessary to get to 200,000 ounces per year next year. Exploration, we focus on Eagle itself. We've now drilled some holes at depth, and I think we've probably added 10 years to the life of the mine if it's economic to take the pit deeper. We've also done some drilling along strike, both to the west and to the east. We weren't too successful to the east, but to the west, we've added probably another 2 years of mine life. So that'll come into our resource and reserve update at the end of the year. Regional exploration, we have a large land package in the Yukon, almost 550 square kilometers. You can see Eagle's, that star in the center there. And we have some 8 high priority targets on the property. Currently, we're focused out to the east. It's another granodiorite intrusive with very similar characteristics to the intrusive that hosts Eagle. It's called Nugget. We got out there with a road in 2018 and made a new discovery on the southeast corner of the intrusive, which we've called Raven. Over the summers of 2019, 2020, and 2021, we had COVID-shortened drill programs, but we did manage to drill 18,000 meters in 3 seasons. And earlier this year, we came out with a maiden resource at Raven, just over 1 million ounces. But interestingly, it's 2.5 times the grade of Eagle. This past summer, we had a large program at Raven. We had 4 drills running most of the summer, drilled over 25,000 meters in 90 holes. And you can see the black dots there are the maiden resource. And you can see all the new red dots are new drill holes. And we're still getting assays back, but we hope to have the resource updated in Q1 of next year, and I think you'll see a significant increase in the resource out at Raven. Uses of free cash flow. Last year, we paid down over $6 million in debt. This year, it'll be a little less than that because we're reinvesting in the business. We've built a water treatment plant. We've purchased 2 new haul trucks. We've put in a fleet management system. We've made some design changes in the crusher, and we've done that Eagle drilling that I talked about at depth and along strike. Then our next priority is debt repayment, and sometime in the future we'll look at share buybacks and dividends. Shareholders, our registry has changed significantly over the last 24 months. A lot of institutions have bought into the stock. Groups like T. Rowe Price out of the U.S., Sprott out of the U.S., Van Eck, CI out of Toronto, Fidelity and Franklin and Force Sales. So we have some really good institutional shareholders now own Victoria. Personally, I own just under 800,000 shares, so my interests are aligned with our investors, and I should point out that I've purchased every one of those shares in the market. We didn't IPO this company and give ourselves a bunch of founder stock. Analyst coverage, currently 6 banks cover Victoria, and you can see their 12-month target prices on the right there. 2 more analysts are currently doing their due diligence, and I would suspect they'll initiate coverage in the next couple of months. Last but not least, ESG. We have a big focus on safety, and I think our safety record speaks for itself. We work very closely with the local First Nation. We have an impact benefits agreement with them, and we've made more than $3 million in payments to the First Nation. Environmental stewardship. I live in the Yukon. I certainly don't want to screw up my backyard. I live there because I enjoy the outdoors. And I'm pleased to say we've had 0 significant environmental incidents. One of the programs I'm most proud of is Yukoners at Work. When we started the mine, we had a big focus on hiring Yukoners, but also welcoming Yukoners to move back home and take a job with Victoria Gold. And I think that emphasis on the Yukon has resulted in the fact that 20% of our employees are women and 20% are First Nations. I don't think there's another mining operation in North America that comes close to those kinds of metrics. So just the investment highlights. We're targeting year over year significant production growth. This is a long life, best of class heap leach operation. We've had positive earnings through the first 3 quarters of this year. I talked about the exploration. This is becoming a district and very positive ESG results. And now hopefully my video works and I'll switch to German.
Victoria Golds Eagle-Goldmine in Zentral-Yukon, Kanada, produziert Goldbarren in einem konventionellen Tagebau mit Haufenlaugung. Das Verfahren umfasst Sprengarbeiten im Tagebau, Abtransport des Erzes zur dreistufigen Verkleinerung, Beförderung des zerkleinerten Erzes über Land zur Haufenlaugungsanlage im Tal, Haufenlaugung, Goldgewinnung in der Goldgewinnungsrückanlage, wo das Gold erhitzt und in Goldbarren gegossen wird, die anschließend an eine Raffinerie verkauft und abtransportiert werden. Die derzeitige Lebensdauer der Mine beträgt 11 Jahre, aber angesichts der tiefen Ausdehnung des Erzkörpers und der regionalen Erschließung ist das Management zuversichtlich, dass die Mine über 20 Jahre laufen und mehr als 6 Millionen Unzen Gold produzieren wird. Der Eagle-Tagebau befindet sich an einem Hang und wird nach seiner Fertigstellung mehr als 2000 Meter lang, 1000 Meter breit und 800 Meter tief sein. Im Tagebau wird das Gestein gesprengt und anschließend in Muldenkipper verladen. Das goldhaltige Erz wird zum Vorbrecher transportiert. Nicht goldhaltiges Material wird zu einem Lagerplatz für Abfallgestein gebracht. Der Fuhrpark der Eagle-Goldmine umfasst 2 Cat 6040 Großhydraulikbagger und 11 Cat 785D Muldenkipper. In eine Schaufel passen 40 Tonnen Material und jeder Muldenkipper lädt über 3 Schaufeln oder 150 Tonnen. Die Muldenkipper fahren mit einer Geschwindigkeit von etwa 20 km/h von der Grube zum Vorbrecher und entladen das Material in die Kippmulde des Brechers. Der Vorbrecher ist ein Kreiselbrecher. Er zerkleinert die Erzbrocken auf eine Größe von etwa 12 cm, etwa so groß wie eine Grapefruit. Vom Primärbrecher wird das zerkleinerte Erz zu den Sekundär- und Tertiärbrechern befördert. Die Sekundär- und Tertiärbrecher zerkleinern das Erz weiter auf eine Zielgröße von 10 mm, etwa die Größe eines Grapefruit-Kerns. Das zerkleinerte Erz gelangt auf einem überdachten Überlandförderer über eine Strecke von etwa 1,5 Kilometern zur Haufenlaugungsanlage. Die Haufenlaugungsanlage befindet sich in einem Tal, das mit einer schützenden Doppelbeschichtung versehen ist. Das zerkleinerte, goldhaltige Erz gelangt auf die ausgekleidete Haufenlaugungsanlage über eine Reihe von mobilen Transportbändern, die das Erz 12 Meter hoch aufstapeln oder schichten. Pro Monat werden 1 Million Tonnen Erz verarbeitet. Auf jeder Schicht ist ein Netz von Tropfrohren installiert. Die Rohre geben eine schwache Cyanidlösung ab, die durch das Erz sickert und das Gold auflöst. In den Frostmonaten bleiben die Rohre 1 Meter unter der Oberfläche vergraben. Die goldhaltige oder fruchtbare Lösung wird dann von der Haldenanlage in die Goldgewinnungsanlage gepumpt. In der Goldgewinnungsanlage wird das Gold aus der Lösung extrahiert und die entstehende taube Lösung wird recycelt und wieder für die Haufenlaugung verwendet. Das Gold wird in der Schmelzanlage auf über 1000 Grad Celsius erhitzt und in Goldbarren mit einem Gewicht von etwa 1000 Unzen gegossen. Die Goldbarren der Eagle-Goldmine enthalten Gold und etwas Silber. Anschließend werden die Goldbarren zur kanadischen Münzanstalt transportiert, wo sie auf 99,99% raffiniert werden.
I think for those that have never been to a mine or a heap leach operation, that gives you a pretty good sense of the Eagle development. And I'd also like to point out that I'm finished right on time, just like the German train system.